Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Prince Automation Destination. This side Prince. I hope you are doing well. So today we are going to talk about REST MCP server. This is a brand new MCP server which I have developed and designed from the scratch using Axios library, right? And the purpose of this particular MCP server to enable LLMs to talk to REST APIs and perform CRUD operations. So this is what we are going to talk about as part of today's discussion. So without further delay, let me jump onto the slides. So this is the REST MCP server, which can be connected with LLM and can perform operations on REST APIs such as create, retrieve, update, and delete, right? So now let us try to understand what is going to be the tech stack, right? What is the tech stack that I have used, right? So I have used Node.js, TypeScript, and JavaScript. I want to highlight one thing, that I'm more comfortable in Java and I have mostly worked in Java, but I have followed MCP document to develop this particular MCP server in TypeScript and JavaScript, right? And the main library is this model context protocol, which provide tool, right? Using tool we can define our individual functionality. Job is to provide the linking between methods and NLP. What does it mean? So in any language there are methods, right, which need to be invoked, but as we are going to provide the integration between this method and NLP, so this is where Jod helps, and it can provide the integration between the natural language and the methods, right? And Axios is similar to rest assured, which I am using, right, to perform the CRUD operations, right? So this is what is the tech stack. So let me show you the framework, right? So this is the local copy. So in this particular framework, the main class is index.ts, right? So if I show you, so I'm using this MCP server library, right? And this is stdio server transport, which is for the purpose of running the MCP server locally. stdio stands for standard input output. Jod is for linking between NLP and methods, right? And Axios for the hitting the APIs, right? So this is how we are starting the server. And as I mentioned, that tool this particular MCP server provide the tool functionality. So using server.tool we define the individual functionality. So this is one individual functionality that I have developed. So here we need to provide the NLP context, right? Generate token or authenticate user, right? This is what we used to pass from LLM in order to talk to this particular functionality, right? So here how we are using the input from LLM, base URL, endpoint, username, and password, and we are passing it to this particular method. And then we are using Axios to hit the endpoint, right? Axios.post base URL and endpoint, which we got from this particular LLM, right? And this is the body, right? Username and password, which is payload, we can say. This is header, right? And this is how we are returning, right? Similarly, we have developed other tools or other functionality as well, like get endpoint, then create endpoint, put or update, right? Then partial update is there, right? And a delete request is there, right? So this is what I wanted to give a glimpse of it, right? So now let me go back, because this is not the agenda of the discussion. The agenda of the discussion is to integrate the MCP server with any LLM, right? Now let us try to understand what is MCP. As I have already covered MCP in many videos, right? And in case you want to skip this section, you can skip it. But those who are watching this video for the first time, for them it become important to understand what is MCP. So that's why I need to cover it, right? Now what is MCP? So MCP is a unified protocol or set of standards which defines standard to allow applications to provide the context to LLMs, right? So with the help of MCP, what happens is we provide the context to the LLMs. What does it mean? So LLM by default cannot talk to external data sources. So suppose your LLM want to talk to Jira to read the user story. So by default, it does not have this capability. And what is LLM? So for any AI tool, LLM is the core. So when we say something to AI, this is LLM, which is returning something, right? Which is giving the output, right? So LLM needs the context, and MCP is used to provide more context by establishing the connection between LLM and the external data sources, right? So it acts like a bridge between LLMs and external systems, right? It follows client server architecture. So client could be any LLM, which is MCP client, meaning it should be able to talk to MCP server. Server is similar to that I have developed. So there are like many MCP server available into the market, like GitHub, GitLab, Postgres, right? Puppeteer, like there are many servers you can talk to, you can utilize to talk to different external sources, right? Now let us try to decode what actually MCP is. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. Model is GPT-4o, Claude, sorry, Gemini, Flash, right? So as we mentioned that for any AI tool, the core is model, right, which gives the output. So when you say act as a senior automation QA and give me the test cases for this particular module, so this is model who generates this particular output, right? So AI tool just is like a UI which will render it, right? So now AI tool needs, or LLM needs, the context, right? So what MCP does is it defines a standard by which we can provide the context to LLM so that it can provide more accurate output. What does it mean? So if we will, for example, provide a connection between LLM and let us say a Jira, right, which has a user story, and we want it to generate the test cases. So if it will have more context, it would be able to generate more test cases. So this is where the MCP helps, right? So if I'll talk about the integration, so for example, as a user, I want to talk to an AI tool. In the background, it will have LLM, which is like a brain, right? If it, for example, want to talk to GitHub to fetch the repositories, it cannot do it, right? But with the help of GitHub MCP server, it can integrate LLM with this MCP server, and then after, this user can talk to GitHub repository via LLM, right, in natural language. Similarly, if it want to talk to Selenium, it need to integrate, meaning this particular LLM need to integrate Selenium MCP. And similarly, if it want to talk to REST APIs or want to perform REST operations, so it will need to integrate with REST API MCP server, right? So now let us talk about our case, right? So LLM with REST MCP server, right? So as a user, I want to talk to, or I want to perform the REST operations, right? So by default, if I'll say to LLM to perform the CRUD operations on a sample API, it won't be able to do so, right? Because it doesn't know how to interact and how to talk to REST APIs. But with the help of REST MCP server, which can be integrated with the LLM, we can perform these operations. So this is what we are going to demonstrate, right? But before that, I just want to show you the resources. So this is the sample REST API, right? So this is the endpoint to generate the token. This is to get the booking IDs. This is to get the specific booking. This is to create the booking. This is to update the booking, partial update, delete the booking, right? And health check, right? So these are the endpoints that I'm going to demonstrate as part of current discussion, right? So this is the GitHub repository where I have pushed the code for this particular MCP server, and this is the npm location where I have pushed the node module, which is required for the AI tool to pull, right, when it would be running it locally, right? So we will soon understand what does it mean, right? So I'm going to jump onto the demonstration. So this is the Cluade Desktop, which is an AI tool, right? So if I click on this particular tool section, you will see no MCP server is connected. As soon as MCP server is connected, it will start appearing here, right? So by default, web search is automatically integrated, but this is nothing for relevant, right? So we are going to talk about MCP server, right? Our MCP server, right? So how to integrate it, right? So the question is how to integrate it. So for that purpose, first of all, Node should be installed, as we would need to run Node module locally, which happens internally, right? When we will provide this particular configuration to any MCP client. In our case, it is going to be Claude, right? So what I'm going to do is I am having this particular configuration here, and I am going to Claude, and I'll be going to File, Settings, and Developer, and click on Edit Config. As soon as I'll click on Edit Config, I'll land on this particular location where Claude is available, and I'll see Claude_desktop_config.json. I'm going to right click, open it into Notepad, and I'm going to provide my configuration, right? And then after, I'm simply going to exit this particular AI tool, right? Now I will start Claude once again. So you see it got started, right? So let us wait for some time, because as we have provided the configuration, it would be downloading the Node module, right? And it would be running it locally, right? So you see, now we are able to see HTTP server. So this is how we can see the same functionality available here. And if I go here and go to File, Settings, and click on Developer, HTTP server, so HTTP server is running, right? So this is happening because of npx command, right? So this is how it works, right? Now what we are going to do is we are going to perform the CRUD operations, right? So for that purpose, I have simply kept this particular prompt, right? So this is the prompt that like this is the information I got from this particular site. So I'll be sharing this particular link as well, right? Now I'm going to copy this particular prompt and I'm going to generate the token, right? So let us say whether it would be able to generate the token or not. So you see base URL endpoint is auth, this is username and this is password, right? Authentication token has been successfully generated, right? Now let us go to the second part, right? Create the booking, right? So when we want to create a booking, meaning it would be a post request, so it would need a payload, right? So I'm passing first name as Prince and last name as Batra, right? So I'm simply going to provide it, right? And see, right? So I don't need to pass token, it will automatically be passed, right? Because it is automatically generated, right? So whichever request would need the token, it will be passed automatically. So you see it has generated booking ID with 3147, name is Prince Batra, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to update the booking using the above endpoint. So for update also, the endpoint is going to be the same, right? But it will add this particular 3147 automatically, right? So I just want to update last name to automation, which was Batra previously, right? So let us see whether it would be able to do so, right? So I'll update the booking to change the last name from Batra to automation. So you see it will automatically pass the booking ID, right? Booking/3147. So booking has been updated. So you see Batra is updated to automation and it has mentioned it as well. Last name changed from Batra to automation, right? Now let us move further, right? Delete the booking endpoint, right? So delete the booking using above endpoint. So I'll delete the booking with ID 3147, which we just generated, right? So you see the booking has been successfully deleted, right? Now let us try to get this particular booking, right? So get the deleted booking using the above endpoint. So I'll try to retrieve the deleted booking with 3147 to confirm it has been removed, right? So you see we got unable to fetch, right? And it said that as expected the booking retrieval failed with an error unable to fetch because the booking was already deleted. So this is what I wanted to cover as part of current discussion. Thank you for watching and I would request you to please like, share and subscribe. Thank you once again.